So before moving forward and taking a few examples, what I want to cover here is a related topic of rotation of the coordinate axis. Right? So normally when we start dealing with vectors, one introduces the rotation of coordinate frame right at that point, because rotation of a coordinate axis is one of the important properties or one of the important rules which define a vector. Right? So, for example, just like in the previous case, we said that commutation is an important relation for vectors to follow, and and that is why the finite angle rotations were not considered as a vector quantity. Right? So, similarly, by looking at this rotation of coordinate axis between two different frames, we can establish a relationship which again is then a defining relationship for vectors, right? And it basically gives us a transformation rule for representing a vector in two different coordinate frames which are connected by such rotation. Okay. So for that, let us start with so what I'll do is, so of course the result is general for the rotation about any axis, right? So n cap. However, for the sake of representing it geometrically on the 2D blackboard, well, green board in this case, what I'll do is we'll consider rotation about the z-axis in the xy plane. Right? Okay. So, as we did earlier, let's start with, let's say this is my one coordinate axis, one coordinate frame, xyz, right, with some origin. And here we consider pure rotations. We are not worried about the translation of the origin because we have already dealt with that problem. We'll simply consider rotation about this. And why I'm doing this is because sometimes, just like we discussed rotation of a vector in the same coordinate frame, in the same reference frame, sometimes it's easier to look at the same problem of, instead of considering it as rotation of the vector quantity which is under observation, rather than rotation of that vector quantity, rotation of the coordinate frame about that vector quantity, right? So both should give physically exactly the same result. However, it's just the nature of the problem which might seem more simpler or easier to understand in terms of rotation of the coordinate frame rather than rotation of a vector. Right? So, okay. Anyway, so let's say this is xyz is my coordinate frame, and let us define a position vector, and we know that this could be any arbitrary vector also. Just by saying it's a position vector, I assign physical significance to it, that it represents some kind of a length scale, right, and orientation in space. So let us say this is my vector r, right, and we know that in xyz I can represent this vector r as xi cap plus y j cap plus z k cap, where x, y, z are the components along I cap, j cap and k cap direction, and I cap is the unit vector along x-axis, j cap is the unit vector along y-axis, and k cap is the unit vector along z-axis. Right? Okay. And again, if I take an arbitrary vector in the same coordinate space, let's say A, then instead of x, y, z, I'll have x component of A, so ax, ay, az, and the respective I cap, j cap, and k cap. Right? Okay. So this is my vector. Now let us say I don't change the vector remains exactly the same. So let's say the position vector about this origin is exactly the same thing, but now my frame has rotated. Right? So that means I am rotating, or I am looking from a different x, y, z coordinate frame which is rotated in respect to the earlier one, with origin being the same. Right? Okay, so let's kind of draw this one. So let us say, and for simplicity again, I am only considering rotation about z-axis, so in xy plane, and let me say that these are still orthonormal to each other, right? And since the rotation is about z-axis, so in both the cases the z-axis remains the same, the origin is same, and this is then my x prime, y prime, and z prime, which is same as z in this case, and the rotation is by an angle theta. And of course, we can have a generalized rotation where the angle it subtends to different planes is, let's say, theta 1, theta 2, theta 3, and it doesn't matter. Our result that we will obtain will suffice for, will be general enough to consider any rotation, right? Okay, so if this is now my new coordinate frame, I want to represent the same vector here. So this was in x, y, z, and now let us write it down in x prime, y prime, and z prime. R is again, what will have is it will have components along x prime direction, y prime direction, and z prime direction. So in general, I can write this down as x prime, I cap prime, right? Where I cap prime is the unit vector along x cap direction. Similarly, I will have a unit vector j cap prime along the y cap direction and k cap prime along the z direction, z prime direction, and in this particular case, z prime and z are the same, so k and k prime will be the same, and that's why the z component will still be same, because the axis about which rotation will being done. However, for time we will consider them as different so that we can refine the generalized relation. Okay, so x prime I cap prime plus y prime j cap prime plus z prime k cap prime, right? So we can write it down like this, and of course now both vectors are same, so that means there has to be a relationship between these x, y, z and x prime, y prime and z prime, right? And this is what we mean by looking at the relation of coordinate frame, that if we can find out the relation between x and x prime, y prime, z prime, y and x prime, y prime, z prime, and so on and so forth, then we have the transformation law. And basically what it says is how a vector will transform in its component form under rotation of coordinate frame. Okay, so let's do that. And a simple way of doing this, just to show the procedure, is, so let's say what is x prime. We can write down x prime, which is the component of this vector r in I prime, j prime and k prime coordinate frame, as r dot I prime. If I take a dot product with I cap prime, then basically what I get is this component x prime. And now here, instead of r given I prime, j prime, k prime, I can also replace this r in my original coordinate frame x, xi, y, j and zk to get the component relationship here. And what that will give me is then x I cap dot I cap prime plus y j cap dot j cap prime plus z k cap dot, sorry, j cap dot I cap prime, k cap dot I cap prime. Right? So that is the component x prime. Similarly, y prime can be obtained as r dot j cap prime. Right? If we take dot product with j cap prime, only this will remain. These two will go to 0, and this will be then x I cap dot j cap prime plus y j cap dot j cap prime plus z k cap dot k cap prime. Similarly, z prime is nothing but r dot k cap prime x I cap dot k cap prime plus y j cap dot k cap prime plus z k cap dot k cap prime, right? And so we can write down like this, and of course it might look complicated, but it's rather trivial now to solve this, because both I and I prime, j and j prime, k and k prime are unit vectors, so their magnitude is 1, and I dot I prime is nothing but the angle or the cosine of the angle between x and x prime. Similarly, j and j dot I prime, j cap dot I prime cap is nothing but the angle between x prime and the original y direction, and so on and so forth, right? So we can find these. There are only cosine terms that are going to come here, because the magnitude of all the unit vectors is uniformly 1. Right? So now what we can do is, we can write this down in a more compact form, and that basically comes from the matrix notation. So we can write down these three equations, 1, 2, 3, which we can use to find out these components in a rotated frame in a more compact matrix form, and in that case I can write this as a column matrix x prime, y prime, z prime in rotated frame is equal to I dot I cap prime in this. Okay, so what I can also do is, since I know that the relations are commutative, so I dot I cap prime is same as I cap prime dot I cap, right? So it doesn't matter which order I do the dot product. So just to see the uniformity, I cap prime dot j cap, I cap prime dot k cap, right? So the first row, similarly the second. So now j cap prime dot I, j cap prime dot j, and j cap prime dot k, and similarly k cap prime dot I, k cap prime dot j, and k cap prime dot k. This 3 by 3 square matrix, where these are the components, 9 components, and multiplied by x, y, and z. And what will happen is, if we apply matrix multiplication on the right hand side, we will get these components exactly in this fashion. Right? So this is a very important result, because this is then transformation rule for vectors under rotation. And now, of course, if you look at this, it's a generalized transformation rule, because so far we have not used this angle theta. So we have not, at least in deriving this, we have not yet specifically put in if the rotation is about z axis and in the xy plane by a single angle theta. Right? So that's a generalized relation. And now, of course, this theta information, I'll write it down, will come when we evaluate these 9 components. Right? So this is the transformation rule, and effectively what we are saying is, now we can make this as a statement that all vectors under rotation of coordinate frame, right, will transform as, or rather the components will transform as a, let's say, n prime. So this is the component where n will be x, y, z, or 1, 2, 3, doesn't matter what kind of indices we use. But in three-dimensional space, it has to have the index will run from 1 to 3, right? So a prime n, so that's the component in the rotated frame, is sum over m e cap prime n dot e cap m, where en and em caps are the unit vectors. So here, for example, e cap 1 will be then our I cap, e cap 2 will be our j cap, and e cap 3 will be our k cap. Right? So this is and a m, right, which is x, y, z. So here again, m will be x, y, z, n will be x, y, z, and then this becomes my. So same matrix relation I have now written in more compact form as this, and then this is the transformation rule for vectors where the coordinate frame is rotated and the vector remains exactly the same. And of course, the applications we can see once we encounter problems where it's easier to change the coordinate frame rather than rotate the coordinate frame rather than the vector. And now for the particular case of this system where the rotation is about the z-axis and it's only in the xy plane with angle theta, right? So in that case, my x prime, y prime, z prime. So for rotation by angle theta about z axis. My x, y, z are now. So now we have to find out these 9 components. So you can see I dot I cap is simply cos theta. And then we had I prime cap dot y cap, which is which is basically cos 90 minus theta, and I prime cap dot k cap, but the relation about z, this is simply going to be equal to 0 because the k vector or the k unit vector is still perpendicular to I and j. I and j are still in that same xy plane. Then on the other side here we had j prime cap dot I cap, so which is cos 90 plus theta. This is again cos theta, and this is still 0. With k prime cap, which is again the perpendicular direction, this will be 0, this will be 0, and k prime cap dot product is simply equal to 1. So this is my transformation rule for this special case x, y, z, which you may have seen earlier, right? But this is the origin of this, and now in more in a better known form, we can write this as sin theta, which is nothing but cos minus theta, and minus sin theta, which is nothing but cos 90 plus theta, right? So then this is your transformation matrix for coordinate rotation about z-axis, and of course by looking at these 9 components, by knowing that these 9 components are basically dot products of individual unit vectors with rest of the others, we can find out this transformation for any arbitrary rotation. I can write down rotation about an axis n cap, which could be anything, I cap plus j cap plus k cap with different components, and then I can write down the transformation matrix.